If you've been thinking about upgrading from your Sony a6400 or 6600 to a full frame camera, are you not sure if you should get the Sony a7 III or the a7C? Well, in today's video, I have a new camera. It's the Sony a7C. And we're gonna talk about this camera next. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Brian, the Camera Guy. On my channel, I review Sony cameras and their lenses. If that's something that you're into, make sure you click that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Today, I have a brand new camera. It's the Sony a7C. Picked up this camera maybe about a week ago, and I wanted to give you my initial thoughts on this camera and why I think it might be the perfect upgrade for somebody who's shooting Sony APS-C. Also, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video as I'll be letting you know who won my 500 subscriber giveaway. Now, let's talk about my initial thoughts of the Sony a7C. A big reason why I bought this camera, real simple. It's a full frame camera. So it's an upgrade from the APS-C camera line. It gives you that full frame look at not too hefty of a price tag. Since this camera did come out, the Sony a7 III did drop in price to just under $1,700. This camera is currently retailing at $1,800. But why did I choose this over the a7 III now that the a7 III is cheaper? Well, real simple. Like I said, full frame plus you got the flippy screen. So because you got the flip out screen, you can actually see all your settings perfectly on this screen. One of the gripes that I have with the a6400 and the other APS-C cameras is that the viewfinder actually blocks your ISO settings. When the screen is flipped up, it's hard to tell what your ISO setting is. So you always wanna dial in your settings using your manual settings on the camera. And when you can't do that, and you can't do that because you're worried that maybe you're gonna overexpose, underexpose, it ends up becoming a problem. That's the reason why I think the flip out screen is gonna work out so much better. Plus, it's always been the desire to upgrade to a full frame camera. What better time to do it than with the Sony a7C? So another reason why I decided to upgrade to this camera is it has in-body stabilization. I'm currently shooting on the Sony a6400 and that does not have any in-body stabilization. When you're out there shooting video, a lot of times you get that wobbly footage or that shaky footage that comes with a non-stabilized camera and a non-stabilized lens. Also, the Sony APS-C cameras didn't have many stabilized options. That was another big reason why I wanted to upgrade to this camera. Now, am I totally abandoning the Sony APS-C camera line? No, I'm not. Because one of the major downsides of this camera is this really small EVF. It's very tiny when you're trying to get your eye into it. I can tell you that the Sony a6400 does have a better electronic viewfinder on it, so it's a little bit easier to take photos with this camera. Plus, you're able to take longer distance shots with smaller lenses because of the crop factor, less break in the back when you're out walking around. If you're looking to shoot video, I think this might be a great camera. Now I'm going to do some reviews over the next couple of weeks to let you know what my full thoughts are. But right now, my initial thoughts are, I love the flip out screen because you can see your full settings on here. Plus, there's a lot more lenses for the full frame system. The APS-C system is great. I have the Sigma Trinity, which I absolutely love. I also have the 16-55 Sony G lens. I did a review on all those lenses. I'll leave that up in the cards above. But if you're looking to really upgrade to that full frame system, this might be the time. The a7 III is a fantastic camera. It takes amazing still pictures, great video. It does have a slightly older color science where this a7C is gonna have an upgraded color science over the a7 III. So you're gonna see a little bit more natural skin tones, a little less of that green shift that the a7 III has. But my thought is if you're looking to buy an APS-C camera, and let's say you're thinking about going with the a6600 because that camera has the stabilization, it's also got the bigger grip, which has the bigger battery in it, has the Z battery, so you're gonna get that better battery life. Maybe for an extra $400, you wanna consider going to the a7C. Now I will say the downside is that with full frame lenses comes full frame glass, and that can be quite expensive. Now with the a7C, you can use your APS-C glass on this, and it will give you the same APS-C crop. So you can use this so you don't have to upgrade your glass immediately. Now, speaking of upgrading glass, I will say this. I did get the Sony 20mm 1.8 G lens, and I can tell you that the image looks pretty good. And actually, before we leave, I'm gonna throw it on the camera so you can see exactly what the a7C looks like. Now, I did wanna get a 2.8 zoom lens, and honestly, to be completely honest with you, the G Master lens is just way too expensive. I couldn't part with $2,000. So what I did get is I got the Sigma 24-70 lens, and it's an f2.8. Now this lens is pretty heavy, and I'm gonna do a full review on both the 20mm Sony lens and the 24-70 Sigma lens coming up here over the next couple of weeks as well. So I'm gonna be totally diving into the A7C system and really giving you a full and honest review on whether this is a great upgrade from the APS-C lineup. Now, my initial thoughts on this camera is, a lot of people complain that the grip is not that deep, and albeit it's not deep, but because the camera is a little bit thicker, it doesn't feel totally uncomfortable. Now, a lot of the reviews say, oh man, this thing is really uncomfortable. I don't find it to be super uncomfortable. Now, when you throw this lens on though, this is a pretty heavy lens, the Sigma lens, it does end up really adding a lot of weight. If you're holding the camera properly with one hand underneath the lens and one hand on the grip, it's not too bad. I also like this record button. I haven't really tried it out too much, but for my initial testing, not too bad. It's pretty easy to find. I do like that you get 3 programmable features up here at the top. So that's kind of nice. You can switch from 24p to 120 slow motion. Now, some of you may wonder, with the Sony a7S III that just came out, why get that? Now, in the past, I've said that I'm a video shooter. So why get the A7C versus the A7S III? Now, the S3 is made for video. Why wouldn't you do that? The truth of the matter is dropping $3,500 on a camera, that's a little steep. Even $1,800 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a cheap camera, but for half the price, I'll get the video quality that will be good enough for what I do, which is mostly YouTube videos and family videos. I just really wanted stabilization in a camera, and I wanted to be able to also have the flip out screen. Also, I do like that Sony integrated the flip out screen where it rotates back and it can actually close it out so you can protect the backside. I usually keep my A6400 in a camera pouch just because I don't want to scratch up that screen. Now, you can always buy screen protectors. Those are pretty inexpensive. Just hasn't come in yet, so I like that the back of the screen is covered and protected. Now, what we can do, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the A7C onto the tripod here, and you can see exactly what the image quality looks like. Now, right now, I am shooting on the Atomos Ninja 5 to get that extra color science. What I'll do is I'll give you a couple samples with just the Sony a7C and 20mm lens, along with the Atomos recorder. So 3, 2, 1. All right, here we are. We're back on the Sony a7C with the 20mm f1.8. Now, I do have this thing at f2 right now. I had the Sony a6400 at that same f2, and right now we're at the 20mm. I may end up cropping it in post, but this is the image quality that you can expect to receive on the Sony a7C with the 20mm lens, straight out of the camera. So I can tell you that the image looks pretty good. The autofocus is pretty quick, pretty zippy. I can actually see the tracking on the eye, where face detection is on the Sony a6400, but on this one, you do get that eye autofocus. So, and I didn't change any of the autofocus settings. So this is the downside with the 20mm lens. I mean, it looks like I'm really reaching out for you guys, literally one arm length away from the camera. And this is what the image quality will look like with the A7C with the 20mm lens. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the Ninja 5, and we're gonna get to who won the giveaway. So let's go to the Atomos. All right, so now we're on the Atomos Ninja 5 hooked up with the Sony a7C 20mm lens, f2, same exact color. So I set my color at 49 Kelvin with an M2, so I slide that slider down to M2. Now, what probably most of you guys have been waiting for a couple weeks is, who is the ultimate winner of the 500 subscriber giveaway, giving you either the Sigma 16mm, the Sigma 30mm, or the Sigma 56mm f1.4 for the Sony APS-C camera lines. And the winner is, drum roll, winner is Tyler Jones from New York. Tyler, I'll go ahead, I'll reach out to you. You can let me know whether you want the Sony 16mm, Sony 30mm, or the Sony 56mm. I do want to thank everybody who had entered and has subscribed to this channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. So let me know what kind of videos you want to see when it comes to the Sony a7C, and if there's any videos you still want to see for the Sony APS-C lineup. If you like this video, I'm sure you're gonna like the video on the screen now. It's another way to up your filmmaking quality. Make sure you click on that video, and I'll see you on that video next. Before you leave, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Brian, out.